Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Those days are over. There we go. You don't have to sell your body through the night. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne, put on the red light. Roxanne, put on the red light. Roxanne. Alright, cool. And let's start this guy. Let's go title. Change to this. Alright, we should be going now. Hey, hey, hey. It's Fat Albert. And I'm gonna sing a song for you. This gonna show you a thing or two. There we go. Okay, I think I'm good now. We'll have some fun now with me and all my gang, learning from each other while we do our thing. Nah, 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 gonna have a good time. Hey, hey, hey. Nah, 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 gonna have a good time. Let me make sure I'm good over here. There we go. Hey, hey, hey. Let me close out some of these windows so my stream will be okay. Now today, we're going to talk about this gun violence. And we're going to talk about this gun control and how gun control is not the answer of gun violence. So y'all tune in. Hey, hey, hey. What's up, y'all? Hey, live. It's your boy, Brian Redmond, and I am on the United Guns of America channel. So what that means is, if you watching this on Facebook, you need to click on them links that's in the little title there, and you need to subscribe to my YouTube channel, United Guns of America. So yes, I got two channels. One is called The Relationship Rehab. Everybody know about that one. And then the second one is this one here, the United Guns of America. I am a gun enthusiast. I am a Second Amendment terminator, whatever you want to call it. I believe in the Second Amendment, to where everybody should not only have the right to carry a gun, they should have a right to own as many guns as they want to. If I want to carry a gun on both my ankles, on both my thighs, and both my underarms, and two on my back, like the dude from Raising Arizona that had the two shotguns on, that's what I should be able to do it. The right is my right as an American in America. We believe in guns. We were founded on guns, and we're supposed to have guns. So that's what I'm talking about today, specifically. And shout out to my boy Eric Abrams, first one in the chat, yes sir. And he was the one who put me onto this story. So I appreciate you for that, brother. And everybody always hear, and it hasn't happened, and no, it did happen. It just happened in Chicago a little while ago. When there's a mass shooting, when there's a school shooting, when there's any kind of random shooting and more than 3 or 4 people get shot at one time, everybody says we got to have more gun control. And it's become such a loose term, nobody really knows what that means. So I'm sitting back, having a beer, and I said, well, what does gun control mean? I thought about it, and I said, oh, that's a root beer, by the way. I don't like regular beer. I drink root beer. Yeah. IBC, I could sponsor y'all if y'all want me to. Y'all should shout out to IBC, root beer. Give me a sponsorship. I'm very cheap right now, so this be the time to get in on the ground level, because when I skyrocket, then it's going to be a lot more. Okay? All right. Yeah. But I'm sitting back and I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, this Venezuela, 6 years ago, they went no guns, okay? And people have talked about and debated about this, you know, saying, oh, they did it in Australia and things they've done it over here and things and they did it over there and things Problem is that Violence is violence. Whether somebody is stabbing me with a spoon or somebody stabbing me with a sword, if somebody's hitting me with a stick or somebody's hitting me with a brick, violence is violence. And I don't want nobody to do the violence onto me. Okay? Because violence being done to me is going to hurt. And I don't want to hurt. I'm a karate man. Yes, I know that. I hurt on the inside. I know how to move my organs around. Like Eddie Murphy said in the jail cell, I'm a karate man. And I bruise on the inside. That's where my injuries and stuff go. So, but I don't want the violence done to me. And the problem with that is that there are people who don't give a goddamn about what I just said. If I'm at the wrong place at the wrong time, the violence will get done to me. And yes, I'm talking about violence in the third person. The violence, it will get done to you if you're at the wrong place at the wrong time. And that's what will happen. And ain't nothing you can do to stop it. However, there is a thing called self-defense. And defending of oneself is everyone's natural right. It is self-preservation. You should be able to do it no matter what. And you can do that by any means necessary in order to preserve your life. That means that somebody does not have the right to do violence to you. And if they do choose to break the law and do the violence to you, then you have the right to protect yourself and in turn do the violence to them. Now, that violence can come in several different ways, in several different varieties. You could do the verbal violence. Verbal violence. Now, did you hear that sound? Verbal violence. There we go. You can do the verbal violence, which is, hey, man, don't you do that to me, you jive turkey. That's like 70s violence. Yeah, that's 70s verbal violence. Hey, you jive turkey, get your hands off me, sucker. That's what happens back in the 70s. In the 80s, it was more of like a, dude, no violence here, man. We're not doing it, man. That was 80s violence, okay? That's you retaliating verbally with the violence. Now, when you go into the 90s, it was kind of like this. Break yourself, fool! You better back the fuck up. That's what the violence was then. So violence has changed, and that was verbal violence, and it's gone on to other types of violence. So you got the fisticuff violence, and let me tell you this. If you ever, I'm going to tell you some valuable information that my uncle told me a long time ago. He said, if you ever get into a fight with an old man, and he puts his dukes up like this, and got that going, that means he can fight his ass off, and you probably going to get your ass whooped unless you are an accomplished boxer like a Floyd Mayweather. So I'm just saying. You ever in a fight, you talking crazy to an old man, like that old man that knocked that dude on that bus, y'all seen the video. If you ever in a fight, old man do this, back the fuck up. Just chalk it up, say, you know what, old man, I'm going to let you go ahead and breathe, old man. Go ahead, get on up out of here, man. Because if you do this, he know what the hell he doing. That's some old 1940s, 50s, 60s type of Marine type boxing type shit, okay? So, if you ever see a man do this, put his deuce up, like, put your deuce up, sucker. Don't fight him, because you're probably going to get your ass whooped, okay? All right. But my point is this. If there is, for some reason, that you are in a violent situation, you should have every right to protect yourself, and you should be able to do it by any means necessary. All jokes aside, there should be a right to every human to be able to protect themselves. Plain and simple. Point blank. Period. Now, the problem with this is when the government steps in and wants to regulate on how and when and where you do this, and to what degree you can do it to. So when you're talking about gun-free zones, you're talking about gun laws, you're talking about having gun regulation, registration, proclamation, orientation, sanitation, whatever you want to say, then hold up. That's my brother. Oh, hey, Jason, I know you got my 6. Hey, brother, that's my brother. We good. Well, yeah, he all good. Whatever he doing, he good. Let him do it. He is not no troll. So yeah, he all gravy. All right, but getting back to what I was saying, when you're talking about all of these different types of regulations that you try to do with guns, it causes a problem. And here's the problem: the problem is not with the law-abiding citizens. And this is my biggest problem with gun control. Gun control is about creating laws for restriction, governing, if you will, for law-abiding citizens. Has nothing to do with the criminals. Nothing to do with the criminals whatsoever. So you want to apply all of these rules. You want to make all of your law-abiding citizens jump through these hoops and rings of fire to go through all these ups and downs, all the red tape, and on top of that, pay all these different fees just to be able to exercise their Second Amendment right, which is a right that was given to every American by the founding fathers of America. Taking it a step further, when you look at the people that cause the most gun violence, that are responsible for most gun violent acts, when you talk about the shootings and the killings, most of those, the greater majority of those, are done by people who don't follow the law. They're done by the people who go out and get their guns illegally. Or even if they say the old myth about the guns being dropped off in the hoods of Chicago on the corners. That's where all of the criminals get their guns from. So you have a problem of gun violence, right? You got people dying, you got people getting shot, people getting robbed, people getting all that stuff going on, living in the ghetto. I get it. But those people that are committing those crimes are the people that are your outlaws. They are the ones that don't go and buy their guns at the gun shop and register their guns and pay for their CCWs or their CPLs or CHLs, whatever you want to call it. They're the ones that don't do that. So why are you going to make more laws for people who are already your law-abiding citizens? Why would you make more laws to restrict them, and you're not doing anything to curb the gun violence for those who are actually out committing the crimes? It doesn't make sense. But, there's a method to their madness. I see you Democrats. Y'all so smooth, man. Where y'all try to take the liberal agenda, try to take our guns and say we gonna help you, but you're really not helping us. You kind of helping yourself and giving yourself more power, so we can't say no. I see you. I know what you're doing. Here's the problem with that. The fact that these guns are being taken off the streets, and if you think about a gunless society, there's always one group of people who never give up their guns. Or two groups of people who don't give up their guns. Politicians and the criminals. They don't. And the politicians, I mean in the government, which means the law enforcement. They're not giving up their guns. Law enforcement listens to politicians. So whoever's in charge politically, they're going to follow the orders of that political leader. And then when you're talking about having that gun control in place to saying, hey, now we got all these guns and the gun control, everything's safe now, is not true. Because now you have a new criminal element, which is your government. Because your government is going to tell you what the hell to do, and they're going to do it even more so because they know you can't fight back. That's one of the main reasons why the Second Amendment is in place. It is to make sure that your government don't take the F over. Trying not to cuss as much. Shout out to my man Ross. I did that for you, brother, if you're watching. But that's one of the biggest things. They want to control you to the point to where you cannot fight back. And the Second Amendment is there to stop that specific thing. They actually say it. Even against your government. If your government act crazy, if your government is tripping, whatever the case may be, this rule, this right, this amendment is for the people to actually go and hold their politicians accountable. Hold your government accountable by any means necessary, even if it means the gun. That's exactly what it's there for. And when people say, oh, that will never happen, we don't live in a society like that. God damn it, we're civilized people. How dare you even accuse us or think that we would do something? We don't need anything like that. We would never do anything to the American people and have our people suffering and telling our people what to do. Well, that's just un-American. We would never do it until you get the power to do it. That's when you try to do it, when you get the power. So, my case in point, hold your government accountable by any means necessary. Not good. There we go. I don't know how I did that. That's just click of the finger, I guess. But what I want to show you is kind of like the same thing that has happened in Venezuela. It's kind of like where you're moving towards here when people talk about gun control and more gun control. You don't want to start going down that rabbit hole, which is why I titled the video, Gun Control, Venezuela Goes Down the Rabbit Hole. And here's what happened. So, right now we're going to do the fair use thing. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Sounds like a radio station, doesn't it? You're tuned in now to WUSC 107, where the best varieties of hits and dusties are now being played. So, let's see what happened, what had happened to Venezuela, alright? And this kind of like tells kind of like the whole story of it, which is why I like this video. Now, it is done by Mr. Tucker Carlson and his crew of cohorts. And I'm going to point out a few things that are just a little bit stretching it, but the gist of what they're talking about, they got some great, some real valid points. So, here we go. Here we go.
Well, no country in the Western Hemisphere has failed more completely in more ways than Venezuela, sadly. It has a lot going for it. It had a huge middle class. It has, of course, the world's largest proven oil reserves. Today, it can't even feed itself. There's no toilet paper some days in Caracas. They're eating zoo animals.
Now, first point is largest oil reserve, that's a huge natural resource. Y'all should be having some type of paper. If them cats over in Kuwait and over in the Middle East, if they got that kind of stuff going on where they getting money with their oil, Venezuela should definitely be getting money with this oil. However, and this is talking, and I'm not a big person on the political scene that talks about the socialism and going socialistic ways and all this. So I don't know about all that. I'm not well versed in that, so I'm not going to speak on it. Don't know too much about that. But to his point, I don't believe that they ain't got toilet paper. And if they ain't got toilet paper over there, that's a damn shame. Somebody needs to be shot if they don't have toilet paper over there, like he said. Which I think, I'm hoping that Tucker was just making a comment, just being facetious by saying that. But if they ain't got no toilet paper, somebody need their ass whooped. And that's exactly why the last thing they need to be getting rid of is guns. And this is, like I said, this started 6 years ago. We're in year 6 now when they started this gun ban. But check it out.
What happened? Well, you know what happened. They implemented socialism, and there were obvious and predictable and disastrous consequences. But that's not the whole story of what happened there. 6 years ago, the government of Venezuela passed a gun ban specifically designed to disarm the public. It, of course, did not make people safer. Venezuela is one of the highest murder rates in the world. That wasn't the point of it. The point was to make the people powerless, and it definitely did that. As one terrified Venezuelan put it, quote, people never would have believed they needed to defend themselves against the government. But of course, they did.
And this is, like I said, this started 6... There we go. All right, I'm good.
Protesters have been murdered by the security forces of dictator Nicolas Maduro. The government still has guns, of course. Authoritarians aren't stupid. They never give up their guns. That's rule 1. Well, that principle applies just as well to the United States as it does to failing socialist states. In New Jersey, ordinary citizens can go to prison for possessing gun magazines that hold too many rounds. But lawmakers there just changed the law to ensure it doesn't apply to police. They know larger magazines can be helpful for defense. That's why their bodyguards still have them. Citizens, though, have to fend for themselves. Bernie Carrick is a former NYPD commissioner, and he joins us tonight.
Now, this guy here is really going to break it down. But when you look at those key points of just saying, like, what has happened so far and where they're at, it's like you're talking about something as simple as saying, hey, we got this high murder rate, and you thinking that the solve to that problem is to say, well, hey, we'll just bring in a bunch of new laws, take everybody's guns, and everybody be smooth. Well, they tried that over in France. And what happened? They took the guns away, and then the stabbings went up. So it's like you can clearly see on just several different occasions and throughout history, like I think Eric even mentioned that a minute ago, throughout history, it doesn't work. So the fact that you want to do it means one and one thing only, is that you are trying to literally just take your hands and put it around the neck of the people so that you can actually have control. It's like when if you take somebody grab them by the neck and you just grab them right here, you got their attention. You don't have to choke them out, but if you squeeze a little bit, you kind of like have a little bit more control over them. And I don't think they want to choke us all out because they need us, but they definitely want to squeeze a little bit just to have our eyes buck just a little bit so we can say, yeah, I understand what you said. I do what you said. You want me to go over and do that and give you more money? Okay, we'll do that. I'll go out there, boss. I'll tell you. That's what they want to do. And that's my thing. It's like we have to be sure and keep in mind that, hey, we don't want everybody to have guns. I get it. Some people don't want to have guns. That's fine. But for those of us who do, you absolutely should have that right. Yes, we can figure out something for the crazy test, but you can't have a test to say if you're crazy you can't have a gun because it's a test. Who writes the test? Who figures that test out? There's no way to really do it. It starts that rabbit hole that I'm talking about of just saying you start to control this. Okay, well, in order to try to control that better, we got to make this law to control this law. Then we put that law in place for that law. And then next thing you know, you got a bunch of laws stacked up on top of each other. Pretty much they're going to say, well, let's just take them all the way because under this law we wrote 15 years ago. If you put that one with this law we just wrote 15 days ago, it kind of takes them away anyway. Yay! That's the way you don't want to go. Because that's exactly how it starts. It starts with just this law, then that law, then add another law. We're going to ban AR-15s. Now we're going to ban handguns. Now we're going to ban this gun. And when you talk about, let me say this real quick. When you talk about the AR-15 ban and why so many people want to ban the AR-15, it's not about it being such a deadly weapon. Because any weapon, it's a weapon. It's deadly. But if you look at the statistics, and I'm talking facts here, you have more handgun deaths than you do AR-15 rifle deaths. So why would they want to take away that gun? Because they paint the picture, and this is where the propaganda comes in, this is where the conspiracy starts. They paint the picture of this gun being so scary. They paint the picture of this gun being, as most ignorant people will say, it's an assault rifle. It's not. It stands for armor light rifle. But anyway, they paint that picture of that gun being so big, being so scary, and it looks like it's the gun in all the movies that you see just mowing people down. They take that image because that'll help sell their agenda. So I want this gun to be the flagship or the poster child for gun control. And Polo AR-15, I'm so sorry for you. Feel so bad for you. They want that gun to be the poster child for gun control, gun ban. So if we can get them to ban this big one, then we can come right back and say, hey guys, by the way, statistics prove that most people die by handguns. We should ban those too. That's how the game is played. I'm going to get you to look at this big thing here that seems real scary and make it look scary. Then I'm going to say, let's get rid of it. You're going to be like, yeah, we should get rid of it because I'm so scared. I don't want no parts of that gun. That gun is big, shoot. It hurt a lot of people. It hurt a lot of people. We got to get rid of it. And then they say, well, let's get rid of this other little one too. So nobody has guns. Great. Meanwhile, military, police, you guys keep your guns and we'll tell you when to fire them and when to shoot them and who to shoot. Thanks. Have a good one. That's what happens. So let's hear what this guy, the commissioner from New Jersey says. Former commissioner of NYPD, and what he says, because he makes some good points.
Bernie, thanks very much for coming on. So there are two parts to the story. The first part is the state of New Jersey, for a time, made it a crime for its own officers off-duty, included off-duty, to have magazines that I think hold more than 10 rounds. What was the thinking behind that?
Well, honestly, Tucker, it was worse than that. And basically, they did it for the entire state of New Jersey. 10-round capacity or less only. Anything above that is a crime.
Yes.
They did it for the whole state. When they did that, and basically, it was a cunning way to attack the legal gun owners.
Yep.
Because you have 8 million handguns in New Jersey. You have probably another 2 million assault weapons, not assault weapons, but semi-automatic weapons, rifles. They have capacities of more than 10 rounds, and the government took that power away, which means you have to destroy the magazines or you have to alter them, and most of them can't be altered. So you make those guns useless. When they did this, they also added off-duty police officers, which is completely bizarre, and it's another assault on the Second Amendment. But more importantly, you have off-duty cops that many of them carry their on-duty weapon off-duty.
Of course.
If it's a 9mm, it has 12 rounds in a magazine, or 13 or 14, it now becomes illegal. So God forbid that cop off-duty gets involved in a shooting, and he's held criminally liable. He can be held civilly liable. It's a major, major problem.
So listen to what he said. He said that they banned these particular guns, the magazines, and all that stuff. And then with the police officers that were carrying their guns off duty are technically now illegal. Because that 17-round magazine or that 12-round magazine or 15-round magazine that you have in your firearm while you're on duty is perfectly legal. However, when you're off duty, it's now illegal for you to have it. And if you shoot somebody or you kill somebody with that gun, like he said, now you are legally liable because you had a firearm that was illegal. And you killed. So your civil suit, your criminal suit, whatever the case may be, you gonna get sued if you got a gun. So you see how it's not even well thought out to even say, they didn't even think far enough to say, well, let's make the law enforcement exempt from this. They won't even do that. They're just so busy or so hell-bent on trying to control guns. And it's just crazy to see when you do that what actually happens, what the fallout is from that. That fallout, it's terrible.
So, I went back to something you just said a second ago because it gets to the heart of what makes me nervous about this whole conversation and why I'm starting to suspect the other side is arguing in bad faith. If you're worried about gun violence, and I think everybody is, including me for sure, you go after the small number of people who are committing it, who are criminals and crazy people. You wouldn't intentionally target legal gun owners who are likely to be law-abiding, and in fact, statistically, are law-abiding. So why go after them? What's that about?
That's about taking the guns. That's about taking guns.
There it is.
That's the only thing I can think of.
I appreciate the honesty.
These are legal, law-abiding citizens that have been vetted, that have been background checked, that have all the stuff they need to purchase the weapons. Well, the governor decided we're going to take every magazine in excess of 10 rounds. And basically what that does, that's a lot of magazines.
But why would you, so your goal, if that's your plan, is to disarm legal gun owners, to take the resources from stop and frisk, trying to find people who shouldn't have guns who possess them, criminals, and go to legal gun owners, it's not really about reducing the crime rate, is it?
No, absolutely not.
Nope.
Listen, the bad guys don't care about your gun law. They don't
exactly
care about that gun law, and they're going to have magazines that have double the capacity. It doesn't make any difference to them. It's not going to have any impact on reducing crime. So I don't know what the purpose was, but I do know right now, even as of now, and this broke on Thursday or Friday, when the Bergen County prosecutor put out a memo to the cops saying,
wife, how are you?
Be careful because of this rule, of this law.
Live on my show
even
right now.
Today, as we speak, they've revised, there's a revision to the law, but the governor hasn't signed it. So you still have cops in the state.
I'll finish it up. I'll call you back. I'll finish it up right now.
If they're carrying a magazine in excess of 10 rounds, they are violating New Jersey state law.
So he pretty much laid it out. And it's like getting to this whole thing about the rounds. I mean, the magazines and the rounds and stuff in the magazines. All of that stuff. It's like this, man. When you're talking about what it is that you have to do to try to make people safe. You want to make, the country safe. You want to make, the streets safe for the people. You want people, I want my kids to be able to go outside and play just like the next person. However, there's a way to go about that. And you have to look at it from a holistic approach. Look at it from a mental health approach. Look at it from the fact to say, hey, what type of laws do we have in place? And is that working for our people that are law-abiding citizens? Yes. So now what do? We need to look at the criminal aspect. How are these criminals getting their guns? When we catch them, how long are they going to jail for? Whatever the case may be. When you're talking about those type of things, yes, you can approach it that way. And you can also take it a step further. Why are these people committing crime? Is it because they don't have jobs? Is it because of the living situations that they're in? Everybody's just not born to be a gangbanger or a thug or a crazy person that wants to, just go out and shoot people and kill people because they've had enough. People are pushed to these type of things because of the stresses of life, because of life circumstances. That's the things you should be looking at. Because when you have people that have jobs, they have purpose, they have things that they can do. When you have mental facilities that are in place to be able to help those who are crazy, who are mentally disturbed, who are suffering from depression, who are suffering from anger management issues. When you have those type of resources available to people, then they can go and get help and your gun violence will go down. But when you think that the answer for everything as far as what guns, who got guns, we just take all the guns and it would be fine, it's an asinine approach. And it's literally just to actually minimize the power of the people. They want, when they're talking about magazine reduction, you can only have an 8-round magazine. Why would I want to have an 8-round magazine? Or why would you want to take my gun from a 15 down to an 8? Why? Is because if I ever get into a gunfight, I got to reload. One thing you don't want to do in a gunfight is have to reload, because that means you in real trouble. So why do they want to do that? They want to give the advantage to the military, which is what they control. You've never heard of the military saying, yeah, we're going to take this 100-round drum and make it a minimum of 20 because that's not fair to the other people we go to war with. They don't do that. So if you're not doing it from a military perspective, why would we do it? We should be able to have the exact same thing that the military has. And people look at that and think it's crazy, but I promise you people, it's not. If one of my buddies said one time, if I want to buy a javelin, I should be able to buy it. Look it up if you don't know what it is. If I want to buy a javelin, I should be able to have one. Shout out to my man Darkness. You should. That's what you want to do, because the military got it. That means the military can use it. And if they can use it on foreign, they can use it on domestic people as well. That's exactly what that oath is. And it's like when you're talking about the things that the politicians are doing to try to curb your law-abiding citizens from having their rights and being able to exercise their rights, not just people like me, everybody should have a problem with that. Because it truly carries over, and this gets to my rabbit hole piece. When you're talking about things as far as saying, well, you controlling what I can have on my gun. You controlling what I can have in my gun. Now you controlling the words that I can say. Now you controlling the words I can't say. Now you controlling the places I can go. Now you controlling the places I can't go. You have all of these different things that you keep having to be controlled and governed and controlled and governed and governed and controlled. And they're all telling you all the while, it's for your own good. No, it's not. If we have a problem as a people, as a republic, as America, as a country, we should be able to get together, talk about it on both sides, and vote together. That's how it should go. And those amendments that we got in that nice little beautiful old piece of parchment paper called the Constitution, we don't need to be trying to change that. That's your foundation. That's your building blocks. That's what it's there for, to sustain everything else. Because what them cats thought of back then, the people always try to say, well, what they were talking about back then doesn't apply now. That was 400 years ago. No. That's exactly why they did that. There's some things in life that don't change. You still need water to make a plant grow, right? Now you can do it hydroponically. You can do it statically. I'm just making up words electronically. You can do it a whole bunch of different ways, but at the end of the day, you need water to make a seed grow. It's just some basic foundational things about life that don't change. There are some basic things about the principles of life that are meant to be the same. All this thing of what happened back then and what happened now, all that stuff, that's not what it's about. That Constitution is in place because they want it to actually be this way for a reason. And when you start chipping away at it, when you start shaving off of it, it becomes a problem, and you get down that rabbit hole. Then you're like Venezuela, a bunch of poor people who have a ton of oil who can't even sustain itself because of its government and its government laws. And they have literally taken all of the guns out of their hands. So now the people who want to try to change the law, who want to try to protest against the law, they can't. Because when they show up, what do you got there? Your law enforcement. What do they have? Guns. What do they do when you don't disperse? They shoot you. That's why 200 people have died trying to protest. And you're talking about 200 people that are unarmed. What do you call that? You call that civil war. Those people have literally, the government has gone to war against its own people. And they're unarmed. I bet you they'd like to have a gun right about now. I bet you they'd like to have a firearm right about now. And these little pictures that you see of them just destroying the guns, it was, oh yeah, this is for the betterment of the people. We doing it. We making change. We gonna be. Look at what happened now. When your government turns its guns on you, and you don't have anything to turn back on them, lambs to the slaughter. There's nothing you can do. You don't want to get to that point. And when you look at the murder rate and all that stuff that's increased in that picture there, it's not directly related to guns. It's related to violence. The violence is because people are suffering. People are struggling. When you don't have resources, when people don't have money, when they don't have jobs, they resort to violence. That's what they do. They resort to violence. That's the final straw. If I can't get it the legal way, if I can't get it the good, honest way, I'm going to get it the criminal way. And if it comes between me eating, me being able to take care of my family, and that's all because of me having a gun or me going out and committing violence, then so be it. People are going to make that choice. So, just wanted to make sure I hit that. Yeah, you said they killed 200 people. Absolutely. So, it's like I just want to make sure that we stay cognizant of that. I know people are concerned, especially in Chicago. And I mean, when you're talking about my city, man, people are suffering. There are a lot of people dying. But it's not about gun control. It's about what's going on in those neighborhoods and what resources are available to those people. Where are the jobs? Where are the mental institutions? Where are the resources that we all as taxpayers put money into to make sure that we have, but they get cut some kind of way? What happened to the parks having all of these programs and all these vocational programs where you can go to the park and get woodshop, boxing classes, karate classes, basketball, soccer, volleyball, swimming, where you could do all of those things, tennis, working out. All of those things were available back then. But what happened to them now? You can't get them now. Why is that? How come we're not asking that question as opposed to saying, let's just get more laws? That's a problem. And those are the things that we need to be concerned about. Those are the things that we need to be saying, hey, we need to figure this part out, because if we don't have any resources for these kids, if we don't have any things that these kids can actually use that can help them to keep them off the streets, to keep them busy, then now we're setting ourselves up for failure. It's just that simple. So that's my 2 cents on it. Venezuela, my heart goes out to y'all. And to America, let's not do Venezuelan. Let's not go the route that the Venezuelans went. Gun control is not the answer. Resources to the people, resources for the people, that's where it starts. It's not about taking away guns. It's about reallocating funds. Ooh, did that rhyme? I put my Jesse Jackson on it. It's not about taking away guns. It's about reallocating funds. Get the church, say amen. Amen. Yes. All right, y'all. That's my 2 cents. Thank you all for checking me out. Everybody that's watching on Facebook, I want y'all to make sure y'all click on them links up there. Go to the channel, click the subscribe button, because I ain't going to always be going on Facebook. I'm going to be streaming on the channel. I got to build the channel up. So y'all go there, subscribe. United Guns of America. Subscribe to the Relationship Rehab. So when I go live on YouTube, it'll let you know. All right. I appreciate everybody. Let me just double check and make sure I ain't got no donations. Because I know some people got love for your boy and they want to look out for your boy and say, hey, man, he's taking all this hard work and time to get all this equipment and to do these broadcasts and to talk and all this stuff to the people. We got to give him something. Let's see what happens. Look at there. See, that's what I'm talking about. Somebody showed me some love. That's what's up. Let me give a shout out to Mr. Let me make sure I can say his dude's name because he might not want to. Yep. Give a shout out to my man John Belcher. Thank you so much for your donation, sir, for quality information and entertainment. I try. And also to see, he got it in there. Don't say my real name. Yeah. Michelle Cobre. There we go. From the chat room. Thank you so much. Love a fellow Midwesterner. Thank you so much for your donation too, man. And anybody else, if you want to donate, you can click the PayPal joint in the description box, or you could just drop a like on the video and shout out to your boy. I appreciate you guys. If you got any information you want to email it to me, that's ugoa1791@gmail.com, or you can hit me up at therelationshiprehab@gmail.com. Once again, I am Brian Redman. This is the United Guns of America, and remember, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. I got to go, like Crazy How McGee used to say. I'm out. I'm about to call my wife because I love her so very much, and I will talk to y'all later. Y'all keep hope alive, and remember, it's not about, what is it, gun control. It's about fun control. What did I say? I don't know. I should have remembered. I'm going to have to write it down. I'm getting old, y'all. Peace, and